Hello, everyone. So, can logic and creativity coexist? I am left-handed. I am therefore, in theory, right-brained, holistic, synthesizing, intuitive thinker. And yet I vividly remember the day at primary school, a very long time ago now, when I was introduced to Boolean logic for the first time, first described by George Boole in his 1847 book, The Mathematical Analysis of Logic. I was completely bewitched. I fell under its spell. And really that's why right now I am enthralled with the job I do every day, working in data technology and analytics, because I feel like it enables me to bring my whole self to work. For me, great analytics requires that we are curious about the world in which we live, that we have the creativity to pose new and provocative questions. And I believe the magic combination of scientific inquiry, algorithmic thinking, when combined with human intuition and creativity, is where you really do uncover new and special insights. For me, data really has the power to drive change, and for me, that is really, really exciting. So a little bit about Sainsbury's, which is where this all begins. We are a beloved British institution with a long-standing reputation for purveying fine quality products at fair prices from our 1,400 plus stores for over 150 years. But in the modern day incarnation of the business, we also have this stable of great brands. But our challenge within the technology space is that we exist in a highly disruptive and competitive market. So our challenge, and it's a challenge held in common with other large-scale enterprises, is how do we escape the narrow confines of a siloed structure that is formed of those very successful and well-defined brands? How do we more nimbly provide a unified customer experience that crosses them? And this is why we have brought our technologists together for the first time in a progressive new tech organization called Sainsburys Tech. Yeah, we're removing inefficiency, driving more structural change within our technology organization, moving our technologists out of what have historically been individual technology teams facing into the brands into this new unified organization, with the idea that that means we can accelerate the way we think about our processes, our systems, and importantly in my space, more effectively pool our data than ever before. Yeah. So this is it. This launched about a month ago. But what is the purpose of Sainsburys Tech, other than escaping, as I say, the rigid confines of a historically siloed brand-led structure? What we've had to do in creating that structure is really think about how we align our business vision, our strategy, and indeed our investment with a really bold review of how we work as technologists. And this is just to give you a flavor of some of the things that we've had to think about in really thinking about what it means to create a technology organization that can build the capability that will enable us to compete, particularly with organizations now who are competitors who were born of the digital age rather than 150 years ago when John James and Mary Ann started Sainsbury's. But it's the customer that lies at the heart of this organization. So Sainsbury's Technology is an organization that is going to build the capability to power, to be the engine room and the catalyst for change to help Sainsbury's become the UK's #1 multi-brand, multi-channel organization. But it's the customer that lies at the heart of our purpose and endeavour. This is a quote here by our CIO, Phil Jordan. And he's talking here about the fact that it's imperative now that we start to build our technology in such a way that it is multi-brand and multi-channel, that we can delight our customer whenever and wherever they choose to shop, and that brand experience at a technology level cannot be different anymore at a brand level. We want to be able to see the customer in 360 degrees at all times, irrespective of the brand or channel that they're choosing to shop with. And we really, really want to develop our systems, our processes, our tech, anchored around the idea, what would our customers think of this? So if we translate that broader technology landscape, this idea that we're creating this new integrated technology organization for the group for the first time, if we take that now down into what it means in the data space, as Matt has eloquently said, my job really is to help realize the organization's strategic ambition that we should know our customers better than anyone else does. If I translate that into data terms, this is what I would describe our data vision to be. So as you can see, it says at the heart, we want to know our customers better than anyone else. That means at a data level, we need to be operating from one ecosystem and really converge on the golden facts on which we're choosing to run our business. So there shouldn't be a difference in the way that we define sales as a simple concept between the Argos retail business and the food retail business. Yeah. Secondly, we want to really empower our colleagues to satiate their curiosity about our business and the way it works by bringing information into the palm of their hands, automating access to insight, shifting the paradigm away from the insight being the preserve of the special few who can write brilliant code, and democratizing it into the palm of the hands of every store manager, every colleague in commercial or finance. And then lastly, if we're going to know our customers better than anyone else so as to better anticipate and meet their needs, at a data level, what anticipation and meeting needs means is it means better prediction and it means better optimization. So we want to start reducing human decision making in the loop of the most complex end-to-end network decisions in our business. Now, all three of these things are completely dependent on one another. We can't be running large-scale predictions without a phenomenal data asset. We won't build the business buy-in into reducing or changing human decisioning unless colleagues can satiate their curiosity about why things are happening in our business the way they are. Yeah, so that is our data vision. But what I want you to think about for 1 second is the amount of data an organisation like ours throws off. Yeah, so we've got the UK's largest loyalty scheme. We've got the second biggest general merchandise and clothing business in the UK. We have a bank. We have hundreds of stores, thousands of colleagues, millions of customers, and billions of transactions. It is a phenomenal data asset. I would argue, but then I'm biased, it's probably the preeminent data asset in the UK. The challenge is that we're not yet maximising the value of that data asset. So my job, why my role exists, why Sainsbury's is investing in a role like mine, is to start to bring this data together in a way that makes it useful and consumable by all, not that it's locked away in the vertical silos of our brands or indeed functions within brand. Yeah, because it's in democratizing access to this data, turning this data into information that we would change the way our business works, ultimately to the benefit of our customers. It's the delighting of our customers that is the purpose behind this endeavour. And the way we're going about that is building this ecosystem, which we call Spire. So what we're essentially doing at the moment is building a ton of data pipelines out of every single transactional system across our multi-channel, multi-brand business. And we're publishing that data firstly to our lake, and then from our lake into our warehouse Snowflake, very tailored to 3 discrete types of user needs. So in my space, my customer is the consumers of information, and they are, at the most nuanced level, our scientists and machine learning engineers who want access to large-scale granular data. You then have the analytical community, those colleagues who are able to write code to interrogate large-scale data assets. And then the last group is the group I referred to earlier, the store managers, the colleagues who work in our trading division or finance, who don't have the capability to write code themselves to interrogate data, but want information served up in an extremely accessible way. So the ecosystem that we're engineering here that you can see is very much tailored to those 3 different users. Now, I touched on this earlier, I'm going to touch on it again now. Nectar is one of our preeminent sources of data in the organisation. Alongside our digital channels, it gives us an enormous amount of information about the way the British public lives their lives. From the asset, we can tell how loyal somebody is, what their buying behaviours are, what their tastes and preferences are. I mean, you can see a few of the stats here about the scale of it. But a couple of years ago now, we recognized that we needed to fundamentally rethink the way Nectar was being used by customers, because we felt that the historical card-based loyalty scheme wasn't truly reflective of the way customers want to shop these days. So we started a program to digitize the proposition to reflect the way customers want to shop. In Sainsburys Tech, we have a culture of experimental curiosity, and we also believe very deeply that when you're trying to develop a truly compelling and attractive proposition, data is the answer to that. So we took a three-staged approach to the development of the digital Nectar program. So in April, it should say 18, apologies. In April 18, we launched a trial on the Isle of Wight. That was quite deliberate. It has a very specific population, doesn't it? And if you're going to really be bold and experimental about digitizing a very traditional, at the time, loyalty scheme, that was a real proving ground to understand how far we could really push a pure play digital loyalty proposition. From there, we then went into Wales, and from Wales, we have subsequently gone to national rollout. But a very deliberate three-phase approach, constant iterations and changes to the proposition being made on the basis of data. And this is what we've launched nationally recently. What I wanted to touch on was the comment there, personalization driven by machine learning. In Sainsburys Tech and in my data technology domain, we're very focused on the idea that the days of operating with and to the average have long gone. And it's imperative that we deliver to the organization the capability to execute at the most granular atomic level. So we are making sure we're building capability to enable granular prediction at scale, building systemic, automated, robust solutions to really complex recurring problems. And this is an example of one of those problems. So what we have been doing within the personalization dimension of the proposition is we've been saying, of our 30,000 SKUs that we sell in the food business and our 19 million loyalty customers, which of those SKUs are those customers likely to be most interested in at an individual level in any given week, given their purchase history, their affinity to use offers, and their own personalized buying behaviors in terms of their recency, frequency, and value. So 30,000 SKUs, 19 million people, real-time prediction about the best fit between customer and SKU at an individual level. And that was very, very exciting because that was probably the largest scale machine learning activity that we had landed at the time. And that is all predicated on that data lake that I mentioned within Spire. So look, why is Sainsburys Tech a really exciting place to work for me? It's a really exciting and rewarding place to work for me because it is not abstract. It is about 26 million customers a week. It is about facilitating the way Britain shops. It is about directly affecting real lives. And it's about delivering the technology that supports the communities we serve. It's a pretty thrilling place to work. Thank you.